My name is Ian and welcome to Planted. I willingly share with you my plant knowledge so that you can have more success in your own yards. Now in this video, something very different. A big thank you to Sam, one of my subscribers, who helped me make the video. And I'm going to show you something rather special, and it gives you a very different view of how to look at a garden. Let's go. You can't have a YouTube channel without some drone footage. So once again, thank you, Sam, for taking these shots of what will become my garden. But you can see my proximity to the sea means that I get cooler summers and warmer winters. But what a beautiful way to swoop in to my little garden and you see the courtyard come out of nowhere. Now, this was shot very early in the morning, around 7 o'clock, so the sun is just coming up, and you can see that the garden is cast in different shadows. And I really want to make this point that the life of a garden changes throughout the day. Here you can see the top of the fig tree in front of me has got sunshine, but the rest of the garden is bathed in this beautiful early morning glow. Obviously, as the sun comes over, it gets much brighter. So I've mingled in some early shots and some later shots to show you this remarkable transition. And here is a new plant that just came open. This is the Formosa Lily. I grew this from seed. There's videos on how I grew it. Just beautiful. Very architectural, very striking, but at the same time, very, very simple. And these are the things that you are not likely to bump into in any garden store. You're going to have to search for them. Now I just want to take a minute to show you the remarkable and beautiful Tibucina. Now I've been very careful with this plant not to let it dry out. But sure enough, it did dry out. And you can see the brown crusty leaves on the margins. And it takes just a few hours, and that's what will happen. That's the problem with growing plants in pots. Here we have the golden hop that was relocated there in March that has grown 20 feet in 3 months. Anyone that thinks that plants are slow, well, they're not. They are incredibly fast. And I just think that it's that speed that I observe that I think many people don't. Here we have one of my planted containers that has really taken me aback. This is more of an architectural planted container. It does have flowers, and we'll get to those. But it's the contrast that I want to talk to you today about. Now, what we have down here is a plant called German ivy. Its fancy name is Wisteria. But this is reverted. This is green. Typically, it should be this variegated. But you see how it's very tortured and congested. Then we've got Euphorbia breathless above it, which is such a contrast, very gentle. And it will shimmer in the lightest of winds. And the spiky plant in the center is an equisetum, which I have high hopes for in coming years. Now let's get back to that elevated view. This wisteria really has challenged people. Some love it, some hate it. I don't mind which side of the fence you are on, but my house is quite close to the road and it's quite tall. This wisteria, I think, has a wonderful effect of softening the house, so I'm happy to grow it. I'm also very happy to prune it frequently, which is what you need to do. Have a wisteria and don't prune it and you're in for trouble. Now look at this shot. Top right, you've got the banana with the big foliage. In the middle, white. That's the Arondodonax that I featured last week in a video. And then the far left, we've also got the purple Mimosa, which just beautiful texture and colors and tones. And when you see a garden like this, this is now in the early morning with the sunlight just coming up. It has a whole different feel to it. And as you go through the daytime, your little courtyard will get different views of sunshine coming at it from different angles. And you get different shade cast in different areas. And that is something that, of course, I'm aware of it. But when you see it from a different angle like this, an elevated angle, it all starts to make sense that your garden is not two-dimensional. That is the view that you have and I have. It is very much a 3D entity, and plants need to get sunlight from any angle they can do. And looking at the garden now, it's made that even more apparent to me. Now that foliage at the bottom, that is a ginger, Hedychium coronarium, and that's just about to put out flower buds, which you'll see in future videos. What I've managed to create in this little tiny courtyard is an area with easy access. I've got 2 hoses, a tiny greenhouse, a collection of choice plants that are easy to grow. More about that in future videos, and also go back to the back catalogue. But just look at this. That to me is intoxicating and so special to get that type of view. It's my little sanctuary. I spend an hour, maybe 2 hours a week just fiddling around. I might sit there for half an hour and then go and do something, and then I will happily continue on my day. Whether it's morning, evening or nighttime, it doesn't matter. But just look how this little garden now disappears. It goes back to being a secret. And the drone is now way above us. You can't hear it and you can't see it. But just look at this, at the view as it changes from looking straight down onto the garden. And then you start to see the beauty of the little village that I live in. I was lucky enough to move here back in 2014. Our house needed lots of help. It's an older house, and truly blessed to be able to call this home. And we can walk in any direction for a few minutes and have access to the water. So that's a video for today. It is a very different view. It's a view I've wanted to give you for some time. So Sam, thank you so much. Tell your friends, tell your family. This is very much a gardening channel on how-to with plants. So on that note, I'll say goodbye.